So it's called Operation Hidden Treasure, and one might surmise from that it's something very cool. Turns out it's not. It is a new program initiated by the IRS to root out unreported crypto income. So we heard about this from a Federal Bar Association virtual tax conference. Sounds like a barrel of laughs. And there was a director of the Office of Fraud Enforcement, Damon Rao, who said that they are instigating this operation to find unreported income. They're mainly going to be focusing on fraud, though. So the idea is looking for patterns like a series of transfers just under $10,000 so that it goes below the reporting threshold. So it does seem that the IRS is clamping down in this area and starting to go after the crypto space more and more. We've seen in the past that they have been sending out letters to crypto holders saying, hey, you may or may not have reported your income. And they got a lot of flack for that regarding overreach. So I'm going to throw this one to the team and just see what your thoughts on all of this are. The crypto tax world is really, really complicated and we're still trying to figure it out. Ben, actually, Zach, you got your hand up there. So let's go straight to you.
I got my hand up. I'm a good boy. I think that crypto tax reporting in the U.S. could stand to benefit from a lot more clarity. It definitely seems like the IRS is ramping up efforts on this. So, just last week they put out a little bit of guidance that was strictly fiat to crypto purchases of, say, Bitcoin don't necessarily need to be reported as a taxable event. Other things clearly do. They're clearly moving up this question, do you own crypto in 2020, to the top of the tax reporting document. So that's a major step, signaling their interest in making sure they're getting this right. I don't know. There's still just so much confusion here. I mean, like a crypto tax software firm raised $100 million to sort of maybe become the TurboTax of this space. And I think we still need more clarity on how this works. And I think as tax season ramps up, we're likely to see more of these stories come out. I'll toss that to you, Jen, for the perspective from up north. What do you got?
Yeah, well, I don't really deal with the IRS a lot, thank goodness. But I did go down a little bit of a rabbit hole when I was reading the story. And exactly what you were saying, Zach, like frequently asked questions say one thing, but the instructions on certain forms say another thing. And it's really, really, really confusing. So I'm just really interested to see how they're going to crack down on this. And the story just seemed pretty scary. I mean, I think there was a quote in the article that was just like, said, "We see you," which just reminded me of a horror film. Like the IRS is coming for you. They see you. So I don't know. I'm going to toss it to Ben. Ben, I know you had something to say. Hopefully
I think Anna had her hand up. So maybe we'll go there.
Yeah, jump in here, Anna, and then I'll talk.
I just had a thought, like, I'm curious if they also gonna be able to go after all this like DeFi farming stuff that is done in a decentralized way, and I think it would be like a pretty tricky task to track that. So all these like crazy APIs, like crazy money made out of farming. Will IRS get those? This is what I'm curious about.
Yeah, I think this is just kind of another example of, government regulations, policies, and not to mention a clear articulation of those policies really lagging, behind the development of tech here. And for this one, yeah, Zach, kind of my first thought was like, what would be great here is a really clear and simple articulation of, what the tax code is around these things and how people can best comply with that. I think a lot of this is, if it's underreported or not reported, that reflects a lack of understanding about what has to be reported because, we have to create firms raising hundreds of millions of dollars to just address this single issue, which shows how complex and confusing it can be. I understand why the IRS might be doing this, but it's going to be really hard to walk that line and not try and just scare people off from crypto entirely. And they have traditionally not been, the nicest people when it comes to that and encouraging its adoption. So we'll see where this goes.
And it's super complicated on so many fronts. Like, for example, airdrops are taxable. So, I mean, I've had a wallet in a cold wallet storage for years. I don't know what's been airdropped to that account. I haven't even accessed that account, right? So, like, people are expected to understand, like, what's been airdropped. Like, if you've ever used a Ledger wallet, for example, you actually have to download the specific wallet. It doesn't just show up what's in your wallet. You have to download the app. And if they don't support it, how do I know what's actually actually gone to that address. So there's so many things the IRS hasn't factored in that complicates this scenario. And exactly the point, like if we're talking about DeFi, like it may get to a point if they're super serious about this where they start tracking IP addresses and they actually start going after people, because we all know the internet is not secure. It is very easy to trace people's activity to them. But the problem is it requires resources, how devoted are they going to be to this? How much are they willing to spend to go after these people? Because it's super complicated. It is going to require a lot of resources to do this.
And, we've seen over the last year or so, these dribs and drabs of contracts with various blockchain analytics firms coming out, be it
Absolutely.
with the IRS or other federal agencies. So, they are ramping up and getting their consulting ducks in a row in terms of having the technological chops to potentially track addresses and again, find the hidden treasure that U.S. taxpayers are keeping under lock and key. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, tax season, it's tax time is upon us.